So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Back again today with a shorter podcast today. Just wanted to pop on and chat about some news that came out during the week. Didn't get time to get around to it, whereby Antonio Cordon, the former Betis sporting director, seems to be on Aston Villa's radar. Now, Aston Villa, as we know, have been looking at sporting directors recently. In the January transfer window, it was rumored that a contingent went to Sociedad to meet and speak to their sporting director, and that Unai Emery is looking to work with somebody different or somebody extra or somebody new or whatever the case may be. What this means for Johan Lang, I don't know. I can't imagine it means something too good for him. But what I would say is that potentially whoever Villa are looking at would come in to work with him, or maybe that he would be moved into a new role, albeit that Antonio Cordon does seem to have some generals he would like to bring with him as well. So it's all exciting stuff, I suppose, really. A new sporting director gives Aston Villa a new kind of look at where they might be going with regards to recruitment, where they might be going with regards to scouting, what the vision of the club is, obviously with the links to Vitória de Guimarães as well. The concrete link now that there is investment in there for 46% of the club, that Aston Villa will be looking, no doubt, to pillage the South American market or the European market a small bit more, and to utilize the partnership between the two clubs. And if somebody like Antonio Cordon does come in, I think it would be beneficial, given he has a working relationship, a working nature with bringing players from South America, and also with La Liga and the Iberian Peninsula as well. There in between Spain and Portugal. So just wanted to take a quick little look at a couple of things written about him previously. I'm going to share up an article here. As you know, the Birmingham Mail have written about him. So this is from a couple of days ago here. Ashley Priest wrote an article about Antonio Cordon. We're going to take a little look at what they said there. And it says that Aston Villa are understood to be in discussions to bring in Real Betis sporting director Antonio Cordon. The news broke this week after Cordon suddenly announced that he was to step down from his role at Betis, having headed up the club's transfer activity since the summer of 2020. Estadio Deportivo in Spain said Canal Sur Radio have detailed how Cordon is weighing up two very attractive offers, one from Barcelona and the other from Unai Emery's Aston Villa. His assistants at Betis, Jose Ignacio Navarro, who's his recruitment analyst, and Alberto Benito, who's also an analyst, are understood to be keen to follow Cordon to either Nou Camp or Villa Park should he opt to accept the offer. I did read as well today when I was doing a small bit of research for this that Alberto Benito is being Betis are hoping he will stay on and will become their new sporting director, although they are talking to former Barcelona sporting director Planes and a couple of other guys whose names escape me at this moment in time. Scrolling on along here, it says that in a statement this week, Betis confirmed Cordon's departure and said Antonio Cordon will no longer continue at Real Betis. The director of football ends a successful spell in the green and white club. Cordon arrived in Heliopolis in July 2020. In these 2.5 seasons, he has contributed in winning the Copa del Rey in 2022 and 2 qualifications for European competitions. In the current season, Real Betis is fighting in the top spots of the La Liga table. The work done by Antonio Cordon has stood out for the success and building of this team, as well as implementing a demanding and successful working method in all aspects related to the first team. Everyone at Real Betis would like to effusively thank Antonio Cordon for the work done and wish him all the best in the future. So Cordon was expected to see out the remainder of the season, while he was also asked about reports linking him with a switch to Barca, to which he replied, "I'm laughing. I have nothing with any club. My departure is not because I'm going to a club for the moment, so nothing." It is true that undoubtedly now they are going to link me to many teams, both in Europe and in Spain, but it is what it is. It is something that I have to expect. So during his tenure at cash-strapped Betis, Cordon signed 13 players, 8 of which were free transfers. The biggest success story is that of Brazilian winger Luis Enrique, who Villa were linked with last month. Fellow Brazilian Luis Felipe and Portuguese goalkeeper Rui Silva have also been huge hits following their free arrivals from Lazio and Granada, respectively. And Cordon's previous roles included acting as sporting director at Ecuador, Monaco, and Villarreal last month. Of course, Villa boss Emery worked with Cordon to bring Alex Moreno to Villa Park for 12 million. So it does go on here to mention a couple of other pieces here to talking about influences at Real Betis. But all in all, the article itself was, as I say, really just kind of highlights the areas and where Antonio Cordon has worked with Real Betis. So I want to add to the stream a small bit of a slide deck here that I've done on Antonio Cordon. And I just wanted to kind of highlight as well, going back to see what kind of recruitment he has done. So looking at all the players that he's brought in from when he was with Betis, from June 2020 to January 2023, and we can see that he's worked in the free transfer market, he's worked the loan market, he's worked in an area of constraint, I suppose, with regards to Real Betis. Obviously, as was mentioned in the article there, working towards signing Luis Enrique for 8 million only, and he's been touted already at going for upwards of 30, 40, 50 million already, which is absolutely huge. He signed German Pezzella as well from Fiorentina, who is now a World Cup winning centre half. And I'm looking to see, do I have it in there? Guido Rodriguez, I think he may have signed Guido Rodriguez as well, but I don't seem to have it on the list there for Real Betis. But all in all, Cordon has done some really good work at Real Betis. Moving on then towards Sissi, who players that he signed at Monaco. He was very heavily dabbling in the defensive market when he was at Monaco, signing Morgan DeSantis from AS Roma and a free transfer. Brought in Kamil Gick as well from Torino for 11 million. Benjamin Mendy, he brought him to the club to Monaco at 21 years of age for 13 million. We know that he went for big money then to Manchester City and has had his woes, and what will come from that legal action is yet to be seen. And Djibril Sidibe as well, brought him in from Lille for 15 million into the club, but heavily tasked with bringing in some defensive reinforcements there, utilizing both the French and the French market, utilizing Serie A, and also utilizing the Brazilian market as well. But where I was really interested to look at was, what did he do at Villarreal? Now, obviously, his path at Villarreal didn't cross over with Unai Emery, but some of the massive players that he brought in at Villarreal really helped to shape that club from the turn of the century onwards, and he was there for quite a period of time. So he was with Villarreal for how many years does it say there? From 1999 to 2016. And you can see some of the players that he brought through there. Marcos Senna brought him as a 25-year-old to La Liga. We know how that turned out. Ended up being a Spanish international and ended up being one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe at the time. Giuliano Belletti brought him in from Brazil. Ended up having numerous moves, playing with Barcelona, playing with Chelsea as well in his time. Pepe Reina, as a 19-year-old, signed him from Barcelona. We now know that he's obviously back at Villarreal, I think, at the moment as well. When Ron Riquelme came in, to the Spanish game, playing at Barcelona. It didn't really click off for him massively there. He went on loan to Villarreal and had some of his best days at Villarreal as well. Fabrizio Collicini, he understood the market, the South American market there, brought Collicini in on loan from AC Milan. Collicini had only played one game for AC Milan. He'd only played one game for in South America previous to that. Cordon saw something in him, brought him in on loan. He ended up playing 32 or 33 games, I think it was that season, and ended up getting a massive move to Deportivo La Coruña, who then obviously sold him to Newcastle United. And Fabrizio Collicini is now currently the manager of the Venezuelan under-20s team, who are competing at the CONMEBOL under-20s tournament at the moment. Also, he did a great retreading of Diego Forlan. Forlan obviously came to the Premier League with Manchester United, didn't hit the ground running, moved to Villarreal, and that's where he had some of his best days as a striker. Antonio Valencia was another player who he brought to Villarreal. And while he didn't hit massive heights at Villarreal, he did go on loan to Wigan United, to Wigan Athletic from there, then got his break at a full transfer to Wigan Athletic, and then onwards to Manchester United. Diego Godin brought him in from South America, another colossus of a defender. Brilliant European defender, absolutely excellent for at Atletico Madrid more recently, but he was brought in by Antonio Cordon. Christian Zapata, another defender, was brought in there. Colombian defender, played at AC Milan for a couple of years. I'm not 100% sure where he is at the moment. He was also at Udinese as well. Martin Caceres, I missed him out as well. Barcelona player, Juventus player, another Uruguayan that has come in and came in and stuck around European football, and a good dogged defender who had his ups and had his downs. Under Cordon's leadership, Santi Cazorla was promoted to the senior squad. He brought in Matteo Musacchio as well, another very good South American centre-half, brought into the club, promoted to the senior squad under Cordon's leadership. So it's an interesting piece, and as I mentioned, this isn't going to be a very, very long podcast, but I just wanted to take a look and see, with Aston Villa, where can we kind of tread the threads together and try and make that woven fabric, that if somebody like Cordon came in here, what would he bring to the team? And I think that what we've seen is that he can work in different areas. He's actually pretty good at working in the intermediate levels, I suppose, with regards to spending, the less and the intermediate levels of spending. He's never really been at a club where they've horsed a load of money in. But when you look at these players that you can see on the screen here, and yes, it is going back to bones 20 years, but when you look at these players that you can see here, coupled with the fact that he still has that little bit of magic, and seeing the likes of Luis Enrique, who he's brought into Betis recently, utilizing that South American market, being able to find good players in that South American market is very important to him. And I think it's going to be very important to Aston Villa going forward as well, if he were to be the man. Now, obviously, we are going to face competition from the likes of Barcelona for him. I think the fact that Barcelona would want to bring in somebody like this, who's able to find that diamond in the rough, bring them in and utilize them within a team, and then sell them on. He also knows when to sell players as well. I haven't popped it up on the screen there, but he knew when to sell Giovanni Lo Celso sorry, I apologize. He knew when to buy Giovanni Lo Celso. He knew when to sell Giovanni Lo Celso as well. Sorry, an alarm went off in my pocket and it completely threw me off my train of thought. But as is my way, I will try and bundle along anyway. So Antonio Cordon, as I say, if he is somebody that comes in to play for, or to come in to be the sporting director for Aston Villa, I think that there will be a lot of eyes on it. He's somebody who's got a good pedigree, a good track record. And as I say, what that means for Johan Lange, I'm not 100% sure. But it will be something I think that everybody will be looking at in the off-season, or as we approach the off-season, because Aston Villa are favoured to be heavily involved in the transfer market this off season as Unai Emery tries to shape his squad. So that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be back again. I've got 2 or 3. I've got a scouting series that I want to put together. Starting off with Ibrahim Mbamba. More than a scouting series there, somebody who's been linked with the club. Obviously, we've seen bits and pieces come out from the Victoria de Guimaraes owner today about that there not being nothing concrete in that. I will have something on him next week. I will also have something on a couple of strikers that I am looking at. And yeah, as I say, we will keep these coming, at least one of them a week, because I really like doing them, and I get some, and you guys seem to like when I put them up there anyway. So Antonio Cordon, let's see what happens between Aston Villa and him over the coming days, weeks, months. And if he ends up at Aston Villa, we will dig a small bit more into this. But thanks everybody so much for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. If you're new to the podcast, please give it a thumbs up. If you're already currently subscribed to the podcast and you aren't subscribed to our audio podcast, consider subscribing to the audio version as well. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.